The emergency klaxons tore through Training Hall 7 as Instructor Zilax watched his entire understanding of combat physics collapse in real time. According to YouTube analytics, 98% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, the human cadet, Emma Williams, according to her file, stood in the center of the training circle holding 2 active plasma blades, one in each hand, their quantum fields humming in perfect stability. That was impossible, not difficult, not inadvisable, impossible. Evacuation Protocol Alpha, Zilax barked into his comm, his secondary arms already reaching for the emergency shutdown controls. All cadets exit immediately. This is not a drill. The training hall erupted into controlled chaos as 73 alien cadets scrambled for the exits. 300 years of teaching combat mechanics had taught Zilax exactly one irrefutable truth. No biological entity could maintain coherent quantum fields in both hands simultaneously. The neural interference alone should have knocked her unconscious. The energy feedback should have stopped her hearts, however many she had. And yet... Instructor? Emma's voice cut through the alarm with what could only be described as casual confusion. Am I doing this wrong or something? You look really stressed. Stressed. The human thought he looked stressed. Cadet Williams, I need you to very carefully, very, very carefully, deactivate both weapons and step away from them. Zilax kept his voice level despite the fact that his monitoring console was displaying readings that violated 16 fundamental principles of quantum mechanics. Both? Emma glanced down at her hands as if noticing the twin blades of superheated plasma for the first time. I mean, okay, but the exercise said to practice defensive forms with issued weapons. Plural, so I figured, no species can dual-wield quantum weapons. The words came out sharper than Zilax intended. He forced himself to breathe through his tertiary lung, the one reserved for extreme stress situations. The neural pathways required to maintain quantum coherence in one field are complex enough. 2 simultaneously creates a feedback loop that, Emma tilted her head, the blades moving with her in perfect synchronization. Not wavering, not destabilizing, just moving, like extensions of her arms. That's weird. They feel fine to me, kind of tingly maybe. The main doors hissed open. Chief Weapons Master Kelthos burst through, flanked by 2 medical response units and what appeared to be a full hazard containment team. Status, Kelthos demanded. Human cadet, dual-wielding active plasma blades, 0 signs of neural degradation or quantum interference. Zilax heard himself say the words, but couldn't quite believe them. Sir, she's been holding both weapons for 47 seconds. Kelthos's facial chromatophores flickered through 3 shades of disbelief. That's not possible. Yeah, I'm getting that impression, Emma said, executing what looked suspiciously like a practice flourish. With both blades simultaneously, the plasma trails left perfect, stable arcs in the air. So, should I drop these now, or... Don't move! Kelthos and Zilax spoke in unison. On the wall monitor, a priority channel flickered to life. Grand Admiral Vexthul's face filled the screen, her expression cycling through concern, confusion, and what might have been existential dread. Instructor Zilax, this is Fleet Command. We're reading a Level 9 reality exception event at your location. Confirm status immediately. Zilax looked at Emma Williams, who was now examining both plasma blades with the casual interest of someone inspecting garden tools. Confirmed, Admiral, he said slowly. The human is dual-wielding. The silence from Fleet Command spoke volumes. Emma raised one hand, the one holding a weapon capable of cutting through reinforced starship hull plating. Quick question, what exactly can't I do with these? Kelthos approached the training circle like one might approach an unexploded antimatter warhead. His scanner chirped frantically, displaying readings that made him check the device twice to ensure it wasn't malfunctioning. Explain it to her, he said to Zilax, never taking his eyes off Emma. Maybe if she understands what she's doing, she'll stop. Zillax pulled up a holographic display. Cadet Williams, plasma blades generate a quantum coherence field that requires constant neural feedback to maintain stability. Your brain must actively process millions of micro-adjustments per second to keep the weapon from destabilizing. Okay, Emma looked genuinely interested. The neural load for a single blade occupies approximately 70% of a trained warrior's cognitive capacity. Adding a second blade doesn't double this load. It creates exponential interference patterns. The quantum fields begin reading each other, creating feedback loops that, right, but like... Emma shifted her stance, moving smoothly into what Zillax recognized as a standard defensive Form 3, with both blades active. His heart skipped. I'm doing it right now, so maybe your math is off. The math is based on 10,000 years of observation across 847 species, Kael'thas said, his voice climbing an octave. The math is not off. Want me to show you the defensive forms? Emma asked helpfully. I've been practicing. Before either instructor could respond, she flowed through the sequence. Form 3 melted into Form 7, then into Advanced Form 12, movements that should have required both hands working in sequential coordination, not simultaneous. The plasma blades carved intricate patterns through the air, their fields never once destabilizing or interfering with each other. Zillax's training manual, literally and figuratively, was being rewritten in real time. I need to call the council, Kael'thas muttered, already pulling up his command interface. This is a species capability exception event, maybe Category 1. Wait, seriously? Emma paused mid-form. It's just holding two swords. Humans do this all the time in movies. The Three Musketeers, Kill Bill, basically anything with ninjas. Movies. Zillax felt his secondary brain beginning to overheat. You learned combat techniques from entertainment media? Well, not learned, but yeah, dual-wielding is super common back home. Swords, knives, sometimes guns if you're being extra about it. Emma demonstrated what she called a figure-8 pattern with both blades. The energy readings on Kael'thas's scanner spiked into the red zone, then somehow stabilized at levels that shouldn't exist. Impossible, Kael'thas whispered. The synchronization between the fields is perfect. Better than perfect. They're enhancing each other. Let me test something. Zillax activated the training controls. I'm going to bring in Cadet Arhil. He's our top blade specialist. Trilaxian physiology. 3 arms. Dual hemisphere brain structure specifically evolved for complex motor control. 3 minutes later, Arhil lay unconscious on the medical platform, his weapon having destabilized 0.003 seconds after he'd activated the second blade. The neural feedback had knocked him out instantly. Okay, that's actually pretty concerning, Emma said, looking down at her still stable weapons. Is he going to be okay? He'll recover, Zillax confirmed, though his confidence in everything else was rapidly deteriorating. This is what should happen. What you're doing shouldn't be possible. On the wall screen, Admiral Vexthul had been joined by 3 other flag officers, all watching Emma with expressions ranging from scientific fascination to existential horror. Instructor, the Admiral said carefully, has the human explained how she's accomplishing this? Emma shrugged, somehow managing to make the gesture look casual despite holding 2 active plasma weapons. I'm just holding them. Like, left hand does left hand stuff, right hand does right hand stuff. It's not that complicated. Kael'thas made a sound like air escaping from a damaged hull. Left hand does left hand stuff, he repeated flatly. 10,000 years of combat doctrine, and the answer is, left hand does left hand stuff. I mean, yeah? Emma looked genuinely puzzled by their distress. What else would it do? Admiral Vexthul materialized in the training hall via emergency transport, her command staff forming a semicircle behind her. She studied Emma with the intensity of someone watching their entire worldview crumble. Cadet Williams, I need you to perform a combat sequence, full offensive pattern, maximum complexity. The Admiral's tone made it clear this wasn't a request. Sure. Emma glanced at Zilax. Which one? Surprise us, Kael'thas said weakly. What happened next would be analyzed by military strategists for the next century. Emma launched into an attack pattern that combined elements from 6 different martial disciplines, styles that were never meant to be used together, let alone simultaneously with 2 active quantum weapons. She spun, struck, parried invisible opponents, each blade moving in independent arcs that somehow created a unified defensive sphere around her body. The Academy's combat simulation computer, which had been running scenario analyses in the background, emitted a sound no one had heard before, a distressed whine followed by a complete system crash. The simulation core just had a fatal exception error, one of the technicians reported, his voice hollow. It can't model her movements. The probability matrices won't resolve. Search the archives, Admiral Vexthul ordered. Every species we've encountered, every combat record. I want confirmation that this has never been observed before. The response came back in 90 seconds. 0 instances of successful dual-wielding across 847 documented species over 10,000 years of galactic military history. 0. Emma finished her demonstration and deactivated both blades, apparently unaware she'd just invalidated multiple scientific fields. Was that okay? I feel like maybe I messed up the transition between Forms 9 and 11. You can dual-wield plasma blades, Admiral Vexthul said slowly, as if testing each word. What else can humans dual-wield? Oh, tons of stuff. Guns, obviously. Swords, axes, knives, staffs if you're doing that spinny thing. Emma started counting on her fingers, having set the deactivated weapons aside. Sometimes 3 things if you're creative. I once saw a guy juggling chainsaws while riding a unicycle. 3 things? Kael'thas looked like he might need the medical platform next. What do you mean 3 things? You know, like 2 weapons and a shield, or 2 swords, and you're also kicking someone, multitasking. Emma demonstrated a kick that made Zilax instinctively step back. It's all just coordination. Just coordination, Zilax heard himself shout. 3 centuries of composure, gone. The neural architecture required to independently control bilateral motor functions while maintaining quantum field coherence is… Hold on, Admiral Vexthul held up a hand. Cadet Williams, can you explain how you're coordinating both hands independently? Practice. I mean, humans do it all the time, writing with one hand while eating with the other, driving and changing the radio, playing piano. That's like 10 independent things at once. Emma paused. Wait, can you guys not do that? The silence was deafening. Our left and right motor cortexes share primary neural pathways, Kael'thas explained, his voice barely above a whisper. Independent bilateral coordination at that level would require… He stopped. How is your brain structured? Normal. 2 hemispheres, corpus callosum connecting them, lots of neurons doing neuron stuff. Emma looked around at the assembled officers. Oh no, this is one of those humans are weird things, isn't it? Admiral Vexthul was already pulling up biological databases. Get me every xenoneurologist we have, now, and someone contact the Galactic Science Council. She looked at Emma with something approaching awe. Cadet Williams, I think your species just broke combat theory. Cool, Emma brightened. Do I still have to take the written exam on quantum blade safety? Because if the answer to most of it is humans are built different, that seems like it should count for something. Zilax sat down heavily on the nearest bench. His entire curriculum, 10,000 years of accumulated military doctrine, was being flagged for review in real time. All because a human thought dual-wielding was just coordination. Sir, one of the technicians called out, the combat simulation is requesting a complete architecture rebuild. It's saying current models are insufficient for human variables. Approved, Admiral Vexthul said tiredly. Approve everything. We're apparently starting from scratch. Dr. Lirana, the Academy's chief xenoneurologist, arrived with a portable scanner and an expression of scientific bewilderment. She spent 5 minutes analyzing Emma's neural patterns before sitting back with a laugh that sounded slightly unhinged. "Her corpus callosum is massive," Dr. Lirana announced to the assembled officers. "The information transfer between hemispheres is operating at rates I've never seen. Each hemisphere can process independent motor commands while maintaining constant communication with the other. It's elegant, actually." "So all humans can do this?" Kael'thas asked. "Should be able to, yes, with training." Dr. Lirana pulled up a comparative brain scan. "Look, most species have limited interhemispheric transfer. We evolved for sequential processing. Assess, decide, act. Humans evolved for parallel processing. Assess 2 things, decide 2 things, act on both simultaneously." "Oh, I can show you." Emma pulled 3 training spheres from a nearby equipment rack. Before anyone could stop her, she began juggling them in a smooth, continuous pattern. 2 technicians fainted. Admiral Vexathul grabbed the edge of a console for support. "That's 4 independent motor sequences," Kael'thas shouted, pointing at Emma's hands with all 3 of his arms. "While tracking 3 objects, while standing on 2 legs for balance, how many things can you do at once?" "I don't know, I'm not great at juggling. Some people can do like 7 or 8 things." Emma caught all 3 spheres and set them down. "This is really freaking you guys out, huh?" "Pull up her personnel file," Admiral Vexthul ordered. "Earth historical combat records, everything." The holographic display filled with footage from Earth. Medieval knights with sword and shield. Pirates dual-wielding pistols. Samurai with paired katanas. Modern soldiers with rifle and sidearm. Martial artists with eskrima sticks moving in independent patterns that made the alien observers physically uncomfortable to watch. "They've been doing this for their entire martial history," Zilak said, stunned. "Every combat culture, every era, they don't even think it's special." "Because for them, it's not," Dr. Lirana gestured at the scans. "Their baseline neural architecture is our theoretical maximum. They start where we end." Admiral Vexthul straightened, her command demeanor returning. "This changes everything. Our equipment restrictions, our tactical doctrines, our entire understanding of combat capabilities. All of it was based on universal biological limitations that humans simply don't have." "So I can officially use both swords?" Emma asked hopefully. "Cadet Williams, as of this moment, I'm authorizing equipment restriction override, human exception protocols." The Admiral's voice carried the weight of historical significance. "You are certified for dual weapon combat. In fact, you're the first sentient being in galactic history to receive this certification." "Awesome," Emma grinned. "Can I get that in writing?" "For my mom?" "Test the other human cadets," Admiral Vexthul ordered. "All of them. I want full capability assessments within the hour." The results came back 47 minutes later. All 12 human cadets at the Academy could dual-wield. Some better than others, but every single one managed what no other species could attempt. One cadet, Michael Chen, could apparently juggle 5 objects while reciting combat protocols. "I'm calling an emergency session of the Galactic Combat Standards Committee," Admiral Vexthul announced. "We need to rewrite the equipment guidelines, update tactical doctrine, and completely restructure our understanding of human combat applications." "Sir, request permission to update the training manual?" Zelax asked, pulling up his teaching materials. Every section on weapon limitations was highlighted in red. "Granted. Add a new section. Human coordination capabilities." Admiral Vexthul looked at Emma. "You'll need to help write it, Cadet Williams, since you're apparently the expert on what should be impossible." "I mean, sure, but I'm really not that good yet." Emma picked up both plasma blades again, activating them with casual confidence. "I still can't do that spinny thing where you toss them in the air and catch them behind your back." Every alien in the room took a collective step backward. "Please don't try," Zilax said weakly. "My hearts can't take it." 3 weeks later, the Galactic Combat Academy looked substantially different. New training halls had been constructed with reinforced observation galleries, apparently necessary when humans decided to see what happens with various weapon combinations. The equipment requisition forms now included a checkbox labeled Human Use, Dual Configuration. Zilax stood in his newly assigned office, staring at his updated title placard, Director of Human Coordination Studies. 10,000 years of combat training materials were being systematically rewritten. Forms that had been standard for centuries now had footnotes reading, Exception, Human Cadets, see Appendix H. Emma Williams, officially certified as the galaxy's first dual-blade specialist, had become something of a legend. 4 other species had formally requested human combat trainers for their militaries. The Galactic Combat Standards Committee had held 7 emergency sessions in 3 weeks. Instructor Zilax. Emma poked her head into his office, both plasma blades hanging from her belt in custom dual holsters. Quick question about advanced training. Zilax felt his primary heart rate elevate. Yes, Cadet Williams. So I've got dual melee weapons down pretty good. What about ranged weapons? Like, can I dual-wield plasma rifles? Or maybe a rifle and a pistol at the same time? The datapad in Zilax's hands slipped through his fingers and clattered on the desk. We haven't even begun to explore the implications of... He stopped, recognizing the futility of the word can't when applied to humans. I'll need to consult with weapons development. Cool. Emma checked her comm. Oh, crap. I'm late for my quantum physics exam. Can we talk about this later? Maybe grab coffee? You're treating the complete revolution of galactic combat doctrine as an inconvenience to your academic schedule, Zilax observed. Well, yeah, Professor Cathol gets really uptight about tardiness. Emma headed for the door, then paused. Oh, one more thing. I've been working on kicks. Humans can fight with their feet, too. Like, we can punch with our hands and kick with our legs simultaneously. That's probably fine, right? Zilax's hand moved automatically to his emergency comm panel. Actually, some humans can do like spinning kick combos while also using their hands for other stuff, Emma continued cheerfully. There's this thing called capoeira that's basically dancing and fighting at the same time. We're super into multitasking. Cadet Williams. Yeah? Go to your exam. Right, sorry. Emma jogged toward the exit, casually twirling both plasma blades as she went, active, humming, completely stable. She deactivated them just before the doorway. Coffee later, though. We should totally discuss the feet fighting thing. As the door closed behind her, Zilax pulled up his comm interface and began typing. Priority alert, human capability addendum, lower limb combat applications, requesting immediate protocol review and possibly stronger sedatives for instructional staff. Outside, Emma Williams rushed across the quad toward her physics exam, treating her place in galactic history with all the gravitas of a Tuesday afternoon. Somewhere in Fleet Command, Admiral Vexthul received Zilax's alert and poured herself a double serving of Rigelian brandy. It was going to be a long century.